Hey, this is Rick Cassell from exercisesforinjuries.com. In this video, I'm going to go through a simple test to see if you have tight hip flexors. I'm going to get Donnelly to demonstrate it. So you're lying on your back, and you're going to straighten out the legs. And while you're in this position for like 60 seconds to 90 seconds, you want to kind of check three things. So the first ends up being looking for tightness in your quads, hips, and back. Asking yourself, do I feel tightness in my quads, hips, and back? Now the second thing you're looking for is, do I end up feeling pulling on my hip and pulling on my low back? And then the third thing that you're asking is, does it feel like I have an increase in the curve in my lower back? Or, when I put my hand under my back, does it feel like there's lots of space? Okay, those are the three questions you're asking yourself while you're in this position for about 60 seconds to 90 seconds. At about 60 to 90 seconds, what you're going to do is you're going to bend your legs, and what that ends up doing is it decreases the stretch on the hip flexors. So you end up having your legs straight. You end up putting a stretch on your hip flexors, and the shorter they are, the more effect they end up having on your tightness and pulling and on your low back. So now that you've bent the knees, you're looking to see and ask yourself, how is that tightness in the quads, hips, and back? Is it decreased? Is it decreased a lot compared to the legs being straight? Second question you're asking yourself, how's that pulling? Has that pulling drastically decreased in the hip and in the back? And then thirdly, has that curve in my back decreased significantly? Put your hand and that can check and confirm. So there you go. Looking at your answers to those questions, if you end up having lots of tightness in the quads, hips, and back, that's a good sign that you end up having tightness in the hip flexors. If you have lots of pulling on your hip and your low back, that's a good sign that you end up having tightness in your hip. And also when you're laying there and your legs are straight and you end up having a big curve in your lower back, that ends up being a sign that you end up having tight hip flexors. So if you have any of those signs, it's important for you to kind of address the hip flexor tightness, because hip flexor tightness ends up having an effect effect on our bodies. It can end up having an effect on our health, our performance, and increase risk of injury and slow down our recovery from injury. So this is Rick Cassell from exercisesforinjuries.com. Make sure to swing by exercisesforinjuries.com. Enter in your injury or pain. There's a good chance of an article, video, or interview that'll help you overcome your injury or pain.